Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. We'll begin today's session quickly. So this is the first question. You're given here a graphic, an image, where you can see many people, their faces. What you have to do in this question is you have to count the number of people with mustaches in the picture shown here. Okay. The options are given 12, 16, 18, and 22. All right. So these are all the people with mustaches. It comes to a total of 18 people with mustaches. So correct answer is option C. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Two men start at the same point. They walk in the opposite direction for 4 meters, turn left, and walk another 3 meters. What is the distance between them? Okay, so this is the position of two men who are standing. They walk in the opposite direction. They walk 4 meters, 4 meters. From there, they turn left. This left will be here. And here, this left will be here. They walk 3 meters, 3 meters. Now you are to identify the distance between both of them. So the distance between both of them will be 5 here by the Pythagoras theorem. This is 90 degrees. The Pythagoras theorem, the total distance that comes between them is 10 meters. The correct answer is option C here. Okay, we'll move to the next one. What is the appropriate option that can replace a question mark to complete the series? All right. We're given here a series. We have to identify which of the options will replace a question mark in order to complete the series. So let's see what's happening. The first figure, second figure, and finally the third figure results. So when you mirror the first figure and place it right beside second figure in this manner, like this, and then of course this line will come, which is there. We mirror our first figure and place it here. That point in time we'll get this final third figure. So applies with this also, where you place it here and then you get the final third figure here as it is. So they are not meeting exactly at this midpoint, but they're making a little bit off. So the mirror of this placed alongside here. So it will be a figure which looks something like this. So the correct answer here will be option D. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Which is the appropriate option that can replace the question mark in order to complete the series on same lines? So we're given here a series. We'll identify which of these options will replace the question mark. Okay, so here we'll look at the way the star is moving. So first, the star's position here, then in the middle, then on the side, then again coming back in the middle, and then here. So it's basically moving along the diagonal. So it's here, then here, which means that in the next figure, which is the place where the question mark will be there, the star will be actually placed here. This is the position of the star. Which obviously makes B and D wrong. Now in the next part, we'll look at the position of the triangle. The triangle is placed here, then here, then here, then comes here, then go back, then comes back here, then here, which means in the final figure, the triangle has to come here. So correct answer is option C. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Which of the options correctly match the paintings with corresponding art movements? You have to match a painting with a corresponding art movement with it. All right. So first is expressionism. So expressionism will be L. So 1 L. Realism 2 will be J. Pop art. Pop art is I. 3 is I. Pointillism, 4 is K, pointillism. Op art is M. And finally, surrealism is H. So the correct answer is option C here. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Where is this famous painting from? So this is a famous painting called The Great Way of Kanagawa. It is made by the famous painter Hokusai, and it's from Japan. The correct answer is option C here. We'll move to the next one. The figure shows a solid formed by union of two solids. The first is an elliptic cylinder of short width 4 centimeter, large width 5 centimeter, and a height of 11 inches. Sorry, inches, all are inches. And the second is cuboid of 8 by 5 by 6 inches. The center of the extruded ellipse is aligned with the edge of the cuboid as shown in the figure. If the resultant solid is cut by a plane, which is shown by the red colored dotted line, what will be the cross section of the resultant face as viewed from the angle perpendicular to the cutting plane? So this is a cutting plane, this is the viewing angle. From here it is looked at. Okay. Now in this case, what is given to us is, this is 4, this is 5, the height is 11 inches, this is 6 inches, and this is total 8 inches. This is a cuboid, this is the elliptical cylinder. Now in this case, I'm drawing a triangle here. So this triangle that I've drawn here versus this triangle that I've drawn here, the dimension of both the triangle is going to be exactly the same because the cutting plane is same. The angle is 90 degree. So if this width is 4, even this width will always be 4. And if you observe, this width is actually 3 inches, which because this cuts exactly in the middle of this height here. So, which makes this also 3, which means the hypotenuse that is getting formed will be 5. So if this is 5, which means that the cross section that I get at the angle is going to be of a 5 by 5 centimeter square. This is going to be a 5 by 5 centimeter square, and then again another cross section through the ellipse will also be both the dimensions 5, which means it's going to be a circle of diameter 5 centimeter. The correct answer here will be option A, which is square and a circle. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A matrix is shown on the left. Which of the options given on the right can replace the matrix with question mark? Okay. So here we'll identify how it is moving, how the pattern's moving. Okay. So we'll just look at 3 letters, 763 first. This letter position shifts to this position here. It shifts in this direction by one part. Then again it moves like this, moving downward. And then again in the final figure it has to come here with 3, 6 and 7 in this position. That is happening at only one place, 3, 6 and 7 happening here. So which is happening in option B, which is the right answer. We'll move to the next one. What does carbon footprint refer to? Here, the carbon footprint refers to the amount of carbon dioxide that is produced by a certain human activity, and it also refers to the total greenhouse gases produced by a certain human activity. So both options A and B are correct here. Okay. We'll move to the next one. What is the correct top view of the solids are shown here? In this case, if you see, this is the edge and then this is another edge, which means that when the triangle will be formed here, there will be 2 edges seen of the triangle. So C and D are wrong. And then later on, we have to identify how many edges will be there. There will be one edge here, one edge because this part is straight. So one edge will be formed here. One edge will be formed here and another edge is already there. So it will have 1, 2, 3 and 4 edges. So that is happening in the option A, 1, 2, 3 and 4 edges. So A is the right one. We'll move to the next one. Shown below are sole designs of slippers, of which some are matched pairs, 1 foot left and 1 right foot. You have to identify the total number of matched pairs in this image. How many matched pairs are there in this image? All right. So these are the total number of matched pairs that are there. This is 1 pair, this is the second pair, and this is the third pair. Total 3 pairs are there, which comes out to be 1 left and 1 right foot. There are certain pairs which do not come, which are not left and right, but they are exactly the same foot. Like this and this are exactly the same foot, which don't match each other. Henceforth, we just get 3 pairs here. All right, we'll move to the next one. So in this question, X1 is a 3D form. This is X1, which is generated from this figure X using some 3D operation. It has 11 surfaces in total that is there. If the same operation is carried out on fish shape Y, how many surfaces will the resulting 3D form have? How now in this case, first you should question how does x to x1, when you transform x to x1, how does it get 11 surfaces? How will it get 11 surfaces? Will be edges become surfaces. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 edges will become 4 into 2, 8 surfaces, because this and this two operations are performed. But along the edge that is parallel, this edge which is parallel to the extrusion plane, that edge will not give you two surfaces, but will give you one surface only. It will look something like that. So plus one surface, and then one top and one bottom surface, plus two surface, that comes to a total of 11 surfaces. So in this shape Y, we have to first figure out how many surfaces are parallel to the extrusion plane, which is this one. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 surfaces parallel. So 4 shapes like these getting formed, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 8 into 2 surfaces, which will be formed like these, plus 2, one top and one bottom surface. That comes to a total of 22 surfaces that will be formed by that will be formed in the 3D form that is generated from the shape Y. Okay, we'll move to the next one. 15 people from different places come together for a family reunion. Each one of them has 2 gifts, each for every other person. When the gifts were exchanged, they hugged each other. What is the difference between the number of hugs and the number of gifts that were exchanged? Very simple. There are 15 people who are there in the gathering. Okay. When these 15 people came together, every person gets 2 gifts each from every other person. So first we'll count gift received. One second. Gift received by one person. So one person will receive it from 14 people, so 14, and each of the person will give him 2 gifts. So 14 into 2, 28 gifts received by one person. So total gifts will be, there are 15 people, each will receive 28 gifts. So 15 into 28, 420 gifts. Okay, and now we'll count the hugs. Total hugs that are exchanged. When gifts were exchanged, they hugged each other. Okay. We have to identify how many how many hugs were exchanged. So one person will hug persons 1 to 14, which means 14 hugs will be there. The second person will hug persons from 1 to 13. Will hug 13 person, or because 1 hugs 2 here, 2 cannot go back and hug 1, but it will hug other people. So number 2 to 15 will be hugged, 2 to 14, will be hugged by the person 2. It's 13 hugs here. 3 will hug how many people? 3 will hug again 3 to 14. So that comes to a total of 12 hugs. So likewise, we'll keep on adding the hugs. The first person hugs 14 people, second 13, third 12, fourth person 11 hugs, and so on till the last person will hug the remaining one person remaining. So 1. So when I say dash dash dash, I mean 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last person remaining 1. This adds to a total of 105 hugs exchange. So the difference that we have to find will be 420 minus 105, which comes to 315 more gifts more received compared to hugs happen. All right. We'll move to the next one. You're given here a graphic. You have to identify which part is missing from the graphic. All right. So in this case, if you just look at all the options, we just have to find how will the formation of this corner be, because that's the only one which is different. Of all of them, one can clearly gauge there will be a line coming and then there will be an ellipse, small ellipse getting formed here, which will be of purple color. So option B is the one which is the right answer. We'll move to the next one. An envelope is made by a single piece of paper, and a few cuts is made after that. The envelope and the cuts are shown here. You have to identify the resultant figure when the envelope is unfolded. What is the resultant figure when you unfold the envelope? So in this case, if you observe, if a triangle is getting formed here, there will be a mirror triangle getting formed here. So applies to all other cases also. Okay. Now, if you observe where exactly is that not happening, that is not happening here. That is also not happening here. So both option A and C are wrong. Now between B and D, if you look at the position of the way the diamond and the square are organized opposite to each other, diamond happens in cross arrangement and square also happens in diagonal arrangement. So where exactly does that happen? In case of option B, the diamond and square are aligned opposite diamond square here, versus in case of option D, the diamond face each other and the square face each other. So D is wrong and B is the right answer. We'll move to the next one. Shown in the four figures A, B, C, D on the right are broken lines drawn on transparent sheet. Each figure is folded over along the dotted lines as shown. You have to identify the correct option that will generate the motif shown on the left. Okay. In this case, when you compare all the options together, you will find one difference that is seen in the figure C here. There will be an arch which should be formed here, which completes this part. Okay, which is missing in the option C. So C is wrong because of that. Next, when you compare A, B, and D together, with case of option B, we have this line missing, which is there in D and A, which will be formed here between these two lines. So B is wrong because of that. Next, between A and D, when you compare when you compare both the figures together, you will identify that one more arch is missing here, this arch, which will complete the side arch, this one. So D is wrong because of that. Correct answer is option A here. All right. With this, I will end today's session here. And guys, if you do like our content, do like, share, and subscribe, and do share this content with people whom you feel that it's relevant for, people who are preparing for design entrances exams, or people who are working on sharpening their visual ability or visual reasoning skills or logical reasoning skills. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you.